Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for clicking on the video. As you saw in the title, today we're going to be ranking the masks worn in the Friday the 13th franchise. If you guys would, please go ahead and hit the subscribe. It really helps out the channel. But other than that, let's go ahead and jump into the list. Alright guys, as I said, we're going to be ranking the masks from Friday the 13th. There are 13 masks that we're going to be ranking. I will not be including any masks from the games or any masks from the fan-made films. Never Hike Alone. There are two of those. They are great films. I highly suggest you watch them. They're free on YouTube. I'll put a link to them down in the description. But I won't be ranking those because they're fan-made films. So, as I said, there's going to be 13. So let's start the list. And at number 13, we have the mask worn by, not Jason, or worn by Roy Burns in Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. As I said, it's not worn by Jason. Most of you probably know this, but Roy Burns is actually the main antagonist of Friday the 13th Part 5. What happens is he's a paramedic who finds out when responding to a call that his son has been murdered, and that kind of, causes him to have a psychotic break, and he dons a hockey mask and imitates Jason and kills everyone at this clinic where his son was. Now, as for the mask, the reason I'm not too fond of it is it appears to be too wide, and I don't think it's actually too wide. The problem is it doesn't really wrap around the face like the original Jason mask does. If you look at that when we get to that in the ranking, it wraps around the face more. It actually covers part of the ears, or at least the ears of the prosthetic. So, and Roy Burns' mask doesn't. And because of that, it sticks out a little too far. Other than that, the very obvious detail is that it has the blue chevrons, and it's only got two of them on the cheeks versus the red chevrons, including the forehead chevron. So because of that, I'm going to rank it last, because it's not worn by Jason. So at number 13, we have the mask from Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, worn by Roy Burns. Alright guys, we're down to number 12, and before I reveal what it is, I just want to go ahead and get this out of the way again. These are just my opinions. If you've got a different opinion, cool, put it down in the comments. I'd love to read about it. These are just my opinions. I know I might get some flack for this. But at number 12, we have the sack mask worn by Jason in Friday the 13th Part 2. Now, as we all know, Friday the 13th Part 2 is actually the original appearance of the very classic villain known as Jason Voorhees. But he's not wearing his iconic hockey mask in this one. He's just wearing a sack over his head. It looks to be, honestly, just like a pillowcase with an eye hole cut out of it, and there's a little string tied around his neck to hold it on. In terms of functionality and practicality, 100% this works. Jason has been dead, or so we think, for this long. He's been in hiding, hasn't really learned. It's something he could just put on easily, tie around, and it's done. The problem with it, in my opinion, is that if you haven't seen it, there's a movie called The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Very good horror movie from 5 years before Friday the 13th Part 2. So it came out 5 years prior, and as you can see, the villain in that wore almost the exact same thing with two eye holes cut out. That's it. That's the only difference. And it seems a little lazy to me that for Friday the 13th Part 2, they didn't come up with something more original for Jason to wear. I know it's hard to come up with an original mask. The hockey mask wasn't even that original, but now it's become synonymous with Jason. But because of that, the similarity to this other popular slasher, I'm going to have to rank it at number 12. All right, at number 11, we have the mask from Part 6, Jason Lives. The reason it's so low on the list is, once again, how non-curved it is, which makes it appear wider. It almost looks like it's a cartoon, and Jason ran into a wall and his face just flattened out. And I just don't like it. It's not a good look, in my opinion. And other than that, we have, let's see, in terms of continuity, we have that. We no longer have the cheek chevrons. The forehead chevron is no longer even a chevron. It's just a red triangle. The straps have changed from black elastic to brown leather, and they're no longer snapped on, they're riveted on. So, for all those reasons, I'm going to put the mask from Part 6, Jason Lives, at number 11. All right, at number 10, we have a mask from the 10th Jason called Jason X. And I'm actually going to put the hockey mask from Jason X on the list at number 10. One of the reasons is the overall shape and feel of the mask just completely changed. It's very angular. There's no longer like a smooth curve. It's especially evident in the nose. If you look at the nose, it's no longer curved like a normal nose would be. It actually just kind of slants straight down. And you see it around the eyes as well. So the overall shape of the mask changed. I don't mind the shape. It's still scary looking. It's still very iconic, but it's not the same. Other problems I see, we still have the brown leather, it looks like, but it's a much wider leather band. And this is the only movie I know of that it's connected on the inside. Like the straps don't connect on the outside, they connect on the inside. Other than that, we have the straps kind of embedded in his skin a little bit. You actually see marks. You see it like kind of dug into his skin. The weathering on the mask at this point, I really enjoy. That's one thing I love about the mask is when you can see continuity from the films and see the weathering and what it's been through and the dirt and grime it picks up. So, I mean, those are good things. And once again, I enjoy all these masks, but some of them less than others. So that's why at number 10, we have the hockey mask from Jason X. All right, at number 9, we actually have the sack mask from the 2009 remake Friday the 13th. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is that sack mask at number 9, whereas the other one was so much lower on the list? Well, that's because this one isn't just a sack. It's not just a pillowcase he's put over his head and tied. I think they try to get away from that look. So this one, it's wrapped much tighter. Like it actually almost looks like bandages, but it's got a completely different look than just a pillowcase pulled over your head with an eye hole cut out. This one is actually, it looks like it's strategically wrapped around his head. It is still tied and it hangs over his collar, and it looks really good that way. But I like it more than just the pillowcase over the head. It doesn't remind me nearly as much as the villain from The Town That Dreaded Sundown. So because of that, that's why it got put at number 9 on the list. All right, at number 8, we have the mask from Jason Takes Manhattan, or Jason gets on a cruise and travels around Manhattan for like 10 minutes. Anyways, that's a story for another video. So this mask, we have the red chevrons back, which I do like. In terms of continuity, the machete slash from the end of part 3, it changes so much. There's almost no continuity of it actually being the same shape or size. And this one, it's really closed up. Also from previous movies, which haven't gotten there yet. There's some damage from previous movies that are just gone. It's almost as if they wanted to just forget that those movies even existed. So we do have, like I said, we have the red chevrons back. We have the classic look. It's still a little wide, but it does wrap around a little bit more than some of the others. The straps, this is something unique about it that's not in any of the other ones. Instead of the straps connecting directly to the mask, it looks like they're riveted in again, but there's these metal, almost like D-rings, holding the straps on, that the straps are connected to. And that's something that's, as I said, it's unique to this movie alone. So it's not bad, still a good mask. So for those reasons, that's why the mask from Jason Takes Manhattan is at number 8. All right, at number 7, we have the mask from Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell. One thing, so the mask itself, pretty good. We have a lot of damage taken to it, so a big chunk of it is missing. And if that's the wrong side, just know I'm looking at the camera view, and I think it's reversed. So, yeah, we have a chunk of it missing, so you can actually see his skull. The big thing is his head has expanded, and like a balloon, and it's expanded outside of the straps. So you see like divots in his skull where the straps were. The straps kind of look like cloth in this one, and they're really faded. Once again, they're held on by snaps. We only have the one chevron or the one triangle above the forehead, although you can't really see on the side where the damage is because it would have cut it right out anyways. But we don't have those. We don't have the cheek chevrons. We have the forehead triangle. The straps just look like a faded cloth at this point, and they're dug into the skin. So I still enjoy it, but like I said, that's why at number 7 we have the mask from Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell. All right, at number 6 we have the mask from Part 7, The New Blood. Now this mask is also damaged, like in Jason Goes to Hell. It's not quite as embellished though. It still have chunks missing. See the exposed skull. We still have the brown leather straps that we saw originate in Part 6, Jason Lives. They seem to be a tad bit wider, and they're no longer riveted on. They're actually snapped on with what looks like bronze snaps. Other than that, we have the red triangle above the head. It's a little darker in this one. It's not as bright of a red, and you could contribute that to weathering, but it just seems too dark. And we're missing the cheek chevrons. So still a good mask. It's the first we see of the really weathered and just degraded Jason mask. So it's pretty good. So that's why at number 6 we have the mask from Part 7, The New Blood. All right, everyone, we're getting into the top 5 now. And at number 5 we have the mask from Freddy versus Jason. Now, I like this mask a lot. It is a little bit wide, but the prosthetic they use on Jason is so wide in this movie that it fits a little bit better, I think. Other than that, the straps we see, they're actually connected by like screws and washers, it looks like. It's not just a simple snap-on like it was. We do still have a leather-looking strap. Other than that, the damage from the machete strike, the damage from the previous ones that were the chunk was missing, exposing the skull, that's all gone, been retconned. We do have the chevrons back. They're very, very faded. But the big thing it picks up in this one that I think gives it a lot of character is during the fight with Freddy. He gets a lot of scratches across, and it's a really good look. It really weathers it well. So, for those reasons, at number 5, we have the mask from Freddy vs. Jason. All right, at number 4, we've got an odd one. We've got a one-off. And that's going to be the mask worn by Uber Jason and Jason X. This, as I said, it's a one-off. It's a really interesting concept. I love the idea of it. The effects and everything were pretty terrible, but that's just a sign of the times. But it was, I don't know, the look of it, the metallic look, the fact that where the straps would be, it's just solid metal running around. The eye holes really worked for me, like the fact that you can see these just blood red eyes behind it, looking so intense. Kane Hodder really brings a lot to the role, but yeah, I just love it. I love it really kind of looks like the Predator mask a little bit, but I love it still incorporates the holes. I mean, obviously we don't have the holes, but you have the slits in the mouth where one would breathe. Overall, I just really enjoyed the mask. Like I said, it's a one-off. It's really just odd, but I like it. And it stepped away from the same hockey mask or the same hockey-looking mask that we see throughout the rest of the series. So for that reason, at number 4, we have... Thought I lost count there. At number 4, we have the mask from Uber Jason from Jason X. All right, at number 3, I'm going to get a little bit of flack for this, but once again, these are just my opinions. At number 3, we have the mask from Part 4. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this mask. It is almost the exact classic, iconic Jason hockey mask. We do now have the weathering and the damage from the machete strike at the end of Part 3. The chevrons are a little bit more weathered. We've got a tiny bit more weathering overall. The straps are the same straps. However, now it looks like they're held on with screws versus the snaps. But, I mean, other than that, it's just almost the exact same mask from Part 3. So, for those reasons, it's number 3, the mask from Part 4. All right, and the biggest upset I think people will take away from this. At number 2, I actually have the mask, the original mask from Friday the 13th Part 2. This honestly wasn't even a difficult decision for me. It's a great mask. It is the iconic Jason mask. If you look up Jason Voorhees hockey mask, this is the one you'll probably find. I just prefer, at number 1, the hockey mask from the 2009 remake. It looks very similar. like in Friday the 13th Part 3 when we get the original hockey mask. As I said, and you'll see the picture, it's just really stretched around his face, which I do like the fact that it curves, but it just looks too tight. Other than that, I don't have a negative thing to say about it. I just, personal preference, when I look at them and I see the one from the 2009 remake, everything about it, the fact that it wraps around, it wraps under the chin, it's not too tight, it fits, it's got the classic black straps, it's got the snap-on versus any kind of screws or rivets, it's perfectly weathered, and it's just terrifying. So there you go. At number 1, I have the hockey mask from the 2009 remake of Friday the 13th. Like I said, if that's not your ranking, I'd love to hear what yours is. Please put it down in the comments. And while you're down there, if you could, maybe hit like, maybe give it a subscribe. Thanks for sticking with me so far, guys.